Let me start first with Calvin Robinson. He came to the United States recently. He gave a talk, and he finished his talk by making a gesture similar to the one Elon Musk made that got him in a lot of trouble on online and with the talking heads and commentators and such. It looks like the Nazi salute. And Calvin Robinson, and just it looked like to be a joke to me, was like, from my heart to yours. And he makes this what looks to be like a Nazi salute. Well, it turns out that got him in a lot of trouble with his bishops in the Anglican Church in England, because they have now basically fired him.
Correction. He's not an Anglican. He's a part of the Anglican Catholic Church, whatever that is. It's not actually the Anglican Church. That's some other group. And I don't want to downplay it. From what I get is he has valid holy orders from the old Romans, like a lot of Anglicans do. But it's not like mainline Anglican Church. So I don't know what it is. He has still been canceled for trolling people. That's what it looks like.
Right,
And
exactly.
I think the thing I'm most amused by is the response was, "Oh, I can set you up with a meeting with my local SSPX parish if you want to start getting try to get there." And the question before that is, do you affirm every dogma of the faith before you even go there? And are you prepared to retreat from the public eye? Because SSPX priests, rather famously, don't have YouTube channels. They don't have, They don't do the circuits. There is an SSPX YouTube channel, but the priests on there, they cycle through them. They generally suggest that their priests don't have social media. And I respect Father Robinson for the things he says and the stances he takes and the risks he takes. But he would have to radically change everything he does to fit in there. But it clearly wasn't a Nazi.
Let me just ask a clarifying question then. So you're saying he's got valid orders
from what I hear,
the old Roman, right? From the old Roman Catholics.
Yeah, the old Roman Catholics are a schismatic, I think, what we would call conservative pre-conciliar group. Okay. They had issues with the definition of papal infallibility. If I'm not mistaken, it's not that they deny papal infallibility, it's that they found the definition troublesome and maybe a bit too much, and tried to get clarification from Rome on it, and were totally ignored. So,
wow.
That's my understanding of this. I might be wrong. Take it with a grain of salt. I have a hard time keeping the old Catholics, the old Romans, and the other groups that all have very similar names separated. There's a group like that who didn't like the papal infallibility definition, have valid holy orders, but ordain women and say their traditional masses in the vernacular and have Novus Ordo'd up. You wouldn't know the difference between them and like a really hippie Catholic parish, other than that it's a priestess at the altar. Right? That's your only giveaway for some. So some of these groups are hard to tell the difference with. But as I understand it, he has valid holy orders, so he's still a priest. He might just go independent.
So yeah, who is exactly canceling him then? Because when I look at his YouTube post, or rather his X post, which I'll link to in the show notes today, he says, "Thank you all for your lovely supportive messages. Yes, it does seem that my license has been revoked. I cannot go into detail yet because I have none."
License is what the Anglican Church and its offshoots use for when we say faculties. They mean it's the same thing.
He says, "I'm obedient." He says, "I'm obedient to my bishops, and I have not heard from the Archbishop yet." And he goes on to saying, "Hey, contact the Archbishop Haverland directly if you want questions." And if you go there, it says the Anglican Catholic Church. So it is very confusing, which is, a byproduct or a fruit of the Protestant Revolution, which needs to be put to an end, and they need to be reconquisted for the Holy Mother Church. But would you say that it's more likely at this point that Father Calvin Robinson is going to be going independent? Do you think he'll just be an independent talking head with a YouTube channel at this point?
That's probably about it. If he's going to maintain obedience to his bishop, then any priestly functions he has, he's going to stop. Other than I don't know if his faculty status allows him to offer masses in private, but beyond that, he'll probably just talk. Unless, of course, that's the condition of him coming back and getting his faculties back, is to stop with the public appearances. So keep an eye on that situation, because I don't think there's any reason for him to Right, but I don't think there's any reason for him to follow their orders. That group is, after all, a schismatic group that denies dogmas of the Catholic faith.
Yeah,
he should just
very interesting.
Find whatever way. He should find whatever way to become a normal Catholic, even if that means joining what most Catholics would consider a quasi or semi-schismatic group.
Interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. But if he does become just a plain old regular Catholic talking head, well, then he's going to run afoul with Pope Francis, apparently, because as you covered on your YouTube channel, there's a Crux article out that says Pope Francis warns against press agencies spreading fear and hatred. My question on this is, when he says press